Yeah, welcome everyone to our 2 days event, Innovate to Recalibrate, Solutions for Post-Pandemic Recovery in Tourism, Hospitality and Gastronomy. And this event is organized by joint forces of Modul University Vienna, Falkensteiner Ventures and Talent Garden. My name is Petra Hauser. I'm the country manager Austria for Talent Garden, and I will be moderating this event for you today. Some words about Talent Garden. We are a pan-European network of co-working spaces all around Europe. We have 18 campuses in 8 countries, and there we do co-working. We have an innovation school, and we also offer comprehensive programs for corporate transformation. I'm going to introduce to you now today's panelists for our roundtable discussion. And at 4 p.m., our roundtable will be followed by pitch presentations of Francesca Mazzano. You are Trade Marketing Manager Expansion for Austria and Switzerland at AB InBev. You are since 5.5 years with the company, and you are responsible for the full trade marketing of all channels, digital, retail, and gastronomy, which means that you are caring about strategy, material creation, implementation in the market, and performance tracking. And also to note, you are a former tagger, and this is how we call our members at Talent Garden. So very welcome to Francesca.
Thanks.
And I go on with Lydia Lalicic, and you are assistant professor in the Department of Tourism and Service Management at Modul University Vienna. You are almost 9 years with this institution, and your research, and this is very interesting for our discussion, is focused on consumer behavior, innovation and brand management in the field of tourism, and also destination management and experience design. And you also teach entrepreneurship. Very welcome to you, Lydia. And today we have actually 3 ladies at our panel, which is a great pleasure for me. And this is why I may also introduce to you Isabel Laskovic. Isabel, you are head of sales at the Marriott Properties in Salzburg, Sheraton Grand Salzburg, I know that one, very nice, and Goldner Hirsch. You're almost 5 years with Marriott International, and you came all the way from Salzburg to our panel, to our physical panel here today at Talent Garden, because you told me that our today's topic is really heartfelt by you. Very welcome, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And now I introduce to you the only gentleman in our panel here, but we have someone else online with us. And this is Karl Wöber. Karl, you are full professor and founding president of Modul University Vienna. You are with Modul University since its inception 14 years ago. You are a true tourism expert and also a technical advisor to European Cities Marketing and the European Travel Commission. And you are also a leading member of the research body behind Tourmis, a European tourism statistics and benchmarking tool. Very welcome to you, Karl.
Thank you.
And now I also have the pleasure to introduce you to somebody who joins us online. Our online panelist is Beat Blase. Beat, you are co-founder and managing partner of Falkensteiner Ventures. Before, you were 14 years with Thomas Cook as Managing Director Europe and also in other executive positions. For Falkensteiner, you are currently investing in people and early stage startups in hospitality, travel, leisure, and elderly care. And Beat, may I ask you to unmute yourself and say a short hello to our audience, please?
Hello, everybody. Well done.
Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, this is our panel, and I would suggest that we directly start into our panel discussion. And I may start with a little broader view. So before actually focusing on Austria, I would like to pose to you a kind of global question. And I came to that because here I read something today in the morning, and these were data from Google. And Google found out that mobility has been restricted in different ways around the world. Like in Peru, retail and recreation have decreased by 95%, in the USA by 49%, in Spain by 94%, in Brazil 67%, and in Sweden, which is adopting a different strategy to fight the virus, retail has seen a decrease of only 25%. But visits to parks have increased by 70%. So this is why I would like to ask the first question maybe to you, Francesca, because also ABN BEV is active worldwide. When we talk about suffering tourism due to COVID-19, from your perspective, was that a global phenomenon? Or if not, what have countries that were not so much affected have done differently?
Well, for sure, it has been a global phenomenon, so everybody resented from it. Some of the differences are due also from the tourism habits of the country. So, for example, countries like Italy, Greece, Spain, or like countries more at the seaside, resented in the summer period, which nevertheless was a bit more open generally. So they resented probably less. While countries like Austria or Switzerland, where the winter tourism is quite high, they resented more severely because of that more restrictions both in our own country and in the destination country. So for sure, I would say that the main two reasons for the differences were the kind of restrictions and also the tourism habits of each country. For sure, countries like Sweden that have been open helped the tourism in their countries. At the same time, people from the starting point countries, they also couldn't get out in some cases. So they, of course, all resented from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone would like to contribute to what Francesca said?
I think Francesca already mentioned important deviations and differences quite perfectly. But I also think that, for instance, islands were able to handle the pandemic in a better way than other countries. So, of course, they were much easier to impose travel restrictions than continental, well-connected countries or destinations around the world. So, I think that islands also were, in generally speaking, more favorite in this situation.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. And I mean, Austria is definitely not an island, so let's focus on Austria now. My question is, for Austria, do we need a kind of anti-wartime economy post-COVID? I mean, can we quantify the problem by how much have sales in the different industries, travel, tourism, gastronomy, fallen in Austria? And what could we do, like now that hopefully in fall we go back to normal? What are strategies that you are discussing, maybe more from the scientific side, but also from the company side? How much were we affected? Can we number that to start off?
I mean, I would actually pose more the question of should we even number, should we talk in terms of growth? Because before the corona crisis, in research, we had projects where we looked into the problem of over-tourism, how can we handle that, how can we make city resilient. Then we had the corona crisis where everything was on hold and we had to really think about how can we recover. So first of all, I think we should be critical on using the word going back to normal. And if we talk about growth, what kind of growth are we talking about? So is it sales? Is it social impact? who is involved in this number crunching. So I think that is, from my perspective, from research, the starting point for the discussion. Yeah, I don't know if Carl has something to add from the research perspective.
Well, maybe focusing on the question, where did we see the most significant drops? And I think there have been quite a variation between sectors. And since in the of course, the hotel sector, particularly the hotel sector in urban areas, have been tremendously hit by the pandemic, and they have been suffering until today quite significantly. In rural areas, if you think about, for instance, the lake areas last summer, they had opportunities to somehow come through the pandemic with what we say reasonably well, as a matter of fact. The gastronomy is the same thing, very different. Some gastronomy companies had absolutely tremendous problems, particularly in those were located in business areas, where office buildings have been, where everyone went to home office mode, more or less. On the other hand, other gastronomy, which really developed a system of delivery service and who really managed to get through the pandemic in a different way, they even made some surplus in their revenues, in a sense. So it's very, very difficult to really say that everyone in industries suffer the same. It's we have to really look at it from very different angles.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that, because here we have two representatives. One, hotel representative, and one beverage representative. So what about your experiences with regard to the suffering topic?
Yeah, absolutely agree here that we really have to look into what segments. So, of course, if we look at Salzburger Land versus Salzburg City, it's not even comparable. Some of the destinations are doing better than they did ever beforehand, while others are suffering greatly. And there we have to look at the other thing. Why do we travel? We travel for leisure, but that's just one segment. There are congresses, there are meetings and events, usually weddings, and lots of important business meetings. And those are dropping away, and those will not probably recover as quickly as leisure. And leisure is now the number one. And I think that's also what we said earlier, one of the reasons why something like an island or any destination that's pure leisure, even within Austria, will be doing very well this summer, and also they did very well last summer. So who suffers, I think, the most? Probably the meeting industry that caters to hotels and congresses.
Okay, thank you. Francesca, what about the beer?
Well, about the beer, as for tourism, that there have been some compensation with local tourism of people not going outside. Also, as we had some compensations, so while we lost the 45% globally in the on-trade, in the off-trade, we gained the 8% on a larger view. So in total, we lost sort of the 30% of the total amount of beer sold in Europe. So this is, of course, a big hit. There has been a slight compensation from the retail to the gastronomy, but of course, it's the occasion missing. So we have been trying to recreate the in-home occasion as much as we can. But of course, it's not the same, especially for some categories of people. So like the youngsters, the adolescents, maybe they are home with their parents. So while a family can recreate the in-home occasion, like having a meal together, drinking a beer, creating some special rituals, this is something that all the younger people cannot do at home with their parents, most likely. So yeah, it's not a full compensation, unfortunately, and the loss is quite big.
Wow, interesting. I would not have assumed that. That's really interesting. Thank you for the insight. Well, I mean,
Petra.
And we had actually also an Earth Day event here some 6 weeks ago.
Maybe we didn't show, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
maybe from
absolutely.
from time to time, drop a question to me as well, and don't forget me here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can unmute yourself whenever you want. Yeah,
No
absolutely.
Problem. So, not adding to what has been said, I think from a Swiss, first of all, I can say that having a look on different countries in Europe and even worldwide, how the development was with our startup companies, and also within our network. Obviously, first and foremost, I think it has been a tremendous effort and success what the Austrian government has done in this country to help to support like hospitality, like startup companies. And if you compare this to other countries in Europe, I think there's no example that has been so strong, so quick, and so how can I say reliable, like what the Austrians have done. And I think that has been really well done from your country. And then, as far as let's say the drop downs have been concerned, I think by far more interesting will be how quick will be the recoveries, country by country, industry by industry. And if I look and go back a little bit to your first question, what were the good examples in my view? Now, if you look what is happening in the US, for instance, or what has happened in Dubai, for instance, during the pandemic, or in China, where also travel is to a large part back to normal, I think that will be the more interesting discussion and part to see how businesses and continents will recover after the pandemic.
Yeah, thank you very much. And actually, we had that topic. Lydia said it is not so much talking about recover in a way, get back to normal, but talk about growth. Yeah, this is also maybe something that you meant by looking at other countries and other examples. And I had that thought when you talked, because we had the Earth Day here some weeks ago, and there we had this fact that CO2 emissions are already, back to the level pre-COVID, yeah, already now, yeah. What about your expectations? And you said the interesting question is, which part of the industry will recover and maybe not even recover, but maybe even gain because there are like new use cases? What would be your bet? Is it hospitality? Is it gastronomy? Is it travel tourism? Beat, what is your bet on that? And what do you see maybe even from those international examples that you named?
Well, I think comparing those is a little bit comparing apples to pears if you compare different segments. But in hospitality, what we are seeing is that specifically alternative accommodations are recovering faster, like the Airbnbs and apartments, probably better than hotels. What we are seeing as well is that hotels with a good value proposition are by far recovering faster than others, which is clear because customers don't want to go in a can-do-nothing hotel. And when I talk alternative accommodations, what we are seeing is also that forms like camping or campers or glamping, so tents and these kinds of accommodations are obviously, they have been on the winner's side pre-pandemic, and they are performing even stronger now. And I think what we can observe is that this is a phenomenon which can be observed not only in Europe, but on other continents as well, specifically in the US, but in other parts of the world as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, this is really interesting because this brings me to the customer experience. Yeah, one of our favorite topics here also at Talent Garden. And the thing is, what Bea just pointed out goes in this direction of a more self-organized customer, a customer that goes more on the individual kind of value that he would also like to co-create, yeah, be it with Airbnb, be it with the tent topic that you mentioned, Beat. So this is quite interesting because all these examples that you named like go away from a kind of mass tourism thing. So my question is actually, and maybe you can also again contribute also from research and also like from your very pragmatical business perspective, do you see like clear trends? Yeah, so not things that will be gone after COVID, but real trends in consumer needs, consumer behavior in these fields that we just mentioned. Maybe we start with the research.
I mean, what we can see already is that consumers, tourists, are of course getting themselves more prepared to travel. So before we would be more spontaneous, we would choose a country or a city and we would just let ourselves on the go, be inspired by my smartphone. But now because of COVID, of course, I want to know, does my accommodation has the safety measures into place? Is there any other sites? How is everything organized? So it needs much more preparation. So I think that is on one hand where the preparation phase becomes more intensified. So we need different tools to support the tourists there. And then when we are traveling, we also again need a different tool set to get that information to us. So I think users are more proactive. So co-creation comes more from the user, let's say. We also see that there are more niches developing. So for example, we see that bird watching became much more interesting for people. So instead of nature tourism, we see smaller niche segments coming in. So from a marketing perspective, of course, that's great because I can directly go into that niche and address that pain point or this interest that my customer has. So I think that are the two most important elements from customer experience design that has changed through the pandemic.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Would you like to add something, Karl?
Well, well, first of all, I want to say I'm really very convinced that tourism will recover very quickly. It will recover so fast that it's at some points will be even overheated in a sense. I think the prices will go up in many instances. I also believe that yes, we will see different forms of tourism, in a sense, and different, let's say, in a variety of target groups we are facing or we are attracting will be much larger in a sense. But in terms of we will still have this type of mass tourism. It might be more mass co-created tourism or mass bird watching tourism in a sense, but it's in terms of tourism itself, the need for travel is so strong. It's intrinsic in the people, and also through the economic changes which we can see in so many parts of the world. Tourism will recover very quickly. The thing is, however, our problem of climate change will remain even after the pandemic. I mean, even we will have time. We will change discussion back to climate change, and what we're gonna see is that many governments will have to react to it, and we will see much more controlled, much more regulated forms of tourism, or let's say tourism will be impacted by the regulations and by the guidance of many governments around the world. And this will have an impact on the way how we will run tourism and make business in tourism in the future. We will see developments, but I think we would have seen these developments also without the pandemic. And I believe that the prices will also have an impact. So tourism again, to some extent, will become a more kind of not luxury good, but it will be more for the wealthy people in order to be able to travel far, for instance. And that's something which we are going to see in a few years. And that's also what a lot of studies actually tell us, which we. For instance, now we can see that, I may add something, that the national tourism organizations in Europe, they are entirely changing their business strategy. In former years, the European Travel Commission's target was to market Europe overseas. I mean, this is ridiculous when you think about climate change. So there is a real need completely shifting also the targets of national tourism policies, and that's taking place at the moment. And it's all been happening because they know if they don't do it themselves, then the governments will tell them that they have to. And I think that's what will really impact the future development of tourism.
Okay, so you talked on the one hand about consumer needs, but also on regulatory topics. Let's stay with the consumer needs for a moment. Did you realize, Isabel, changed consumer needs already, or are you preparing for those assumptions on changed consumer needs in your field?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the same thing as Professor Weber said as well, that many of these trends already existed. They were just accelerated by what happened now. So that you have to be specific to a niche, that you have to be specific for a target guest, because you don't just travel anymore because you need a bed, but you travel for the experience. So also as a hotel, we have to provide that. And we were on that beforehand, but we're even more on that now to do very specific things what the consumer is asking for now. For example, a lot of people are traveling now with their animals. Do we have beds for the animals? Do we have activities for the animals? More people are traveling with children. What activities can we provide in a mainly adult-like property? What about if you can't go far away? What other fun gastronomic experiences can we provide within the hotel? So it's not just drinking the beer, but how are you drinking that beer? Can you do a game along with it? Can there be outside music? So just to add to it, or even the camping, we thought about putting up a tent so people can, stay longer outside, drink their beer before they go back into the property and actually sleep inside. So lots of ideas, but in that sense, nothing new.
Okay, and did your prices go up? Or will they go up by all these individualized offers?
If we see that right now, no. But 2022, definitely. And I also, if we talk about trends, I definitely think there's a huge demand to go travel. Some of the needs have also changed, so I do think it will be maybe a little bit more spread out than it ever was beforehand. Not everyone is going to go to Thailand now because some people discovered that, oh, you know what, Austria is actually really nice. I will go to Wörthersee, and that's enough for my summer vacation. So I think we will see a bit of a spreading out there, but the demand will definitely go up, and we've seen that. When we said we're going to open May 19th, we had a flood of bookings, and I'm talking from the city perspective. I don't even want to know, well, I could see, but when I saw from the countryside, I mean, that's easily 3,000 bookings for one hotel on May 19th.
Wow. Wow. Francesca, Lydia also suggested more transparency in the whole industry because people would like to be more informed. They plan their travels very much in detail. They need all the information. This is a lot of data transparency. And you are responsible, for marketing, and you work with data, I suggest. Is that something which you even put more or are putting more emphasis on, data analytics and all that stuff, to be like more individualized, as we also discussed before?
That's for sure. We are also adapting a bit our brand ideals. Luckily, most of our brands were already really focused on experiencing something together with your friends and family, savoring time together, or even Corona beer actually is really about the experience in the outdoor and taking your time to get back in connection with yourself. So we are for sure working a lot in making the experience, again, perfect for what the consumers are looking right now. We are looking for a lot of data about that and also on consumers' behavior, on how they're going to react. And it's very cool what you said about the experience searching, because indeed there are most likely, again, two different parts of population. So there are, again, the youngster people that they just want to have an experience now. They want to go out and do something. So they just really want to do something. While the families are going to be more moderate, as much as we saw. And they're going to want to do less things but better. So like I'm not just want to have a beer outside, but I want to have it with the music. I want to have a full experience, and I want to feel it, because I have been lacking the social moment for so long that now I really want to enjoy it fully. While, of course, people that have been locked out with their parents for months, they just want to go out with their friends and go crazy.
Okay, thank you. Beat, one question to you, because you're investing in startups. And one truth that is definitely there for COVID-19 is that digitalization got a big push. And on the other hand, especially gastronomy, but also the other industries we are talking about, are not really the leading edge in terms of applying technology and digitalization. What are your bets in terms of investing in startups in these fields? Are these startups more oriented to a specific customer experience? Are they more oriented into data, bringing transparency to the market? So what are those startups that have the, from your point of view, biggest chances to now do something with the more traditional players?
Like, I guess it all boils down to what is your value proposition to the customer. And even by far a lot stronger than before. And a large part of this, obviously, yes, will be driven by tech. But equally a large part, in my view, will be driven by people. Do they understand their brand? Do they understand their customer? And I come back to your tech question, but maybe first to answer the human part as well, not to forget the human part. And we talk a lot about technology, but just last week I spoke with a travel agency, and you would think like, okay, old-fashioned travel agency, brick and mortar business, but they have outperformed their 2019 levels. Why? Because they are focused on wealthy customers who want to do a lot of revenge travel, they call it. So people want to go out, and they've just perfectly excelled to attract customers and convincing them that they can provide them services they have not seen before. So, and this is a brilliant example of a perfect value proposition to your customer. And yes, a lot of this can be and will be accelerated by technology. And what we are seeing is that specifically software as a service companies, for instance, in hospitality, that they have a good momentum, and even SaaS companies who are in the mice sector. So one of our companies, they are in mice business, and you would assume that people in mice business, they are dead or almost dead, but or technically dead, but they are really gaining a lot of new customers. Why? Because hotel chains are also changing the ways of working, how they have been worked before, implementing new technology, providing better services to their customers. So coming back to your question, yes, what we are seeing is that software as a service, for instance, in hospitality, that they have a huge potential now and also going forward.
Okay, thank you very much. But now I have a little fear, because I mean, several of you mentioned that tourism will become a kind of more expensive experience, more for the wealthy people, value-added services that cost. Is that a truth? I mean, and what does that really mean? Will it be like at retail stores that you have the own brands, that are like less money, less service, and then you really have the elite part. So will we have a two-class tourism? Is that the future?
No, I don't think so. I honestly also think this is going to be a demand that's going to be built up for maybe the next 2 years, and then it will come down again. I think a big part of the hype is because now nearly 1.5 or 2 years, then eventually people will not have been able to travel. So the demand will go up. Everyone will want to go out, but that will come back down again. I don't think it will last.
And you don't think we will have a two-class tourism?
No, maybe for the 2022 and 2023, I definitely think there will be a difference. I mean, again, as I just heard, if you're wealthy, you can buy yourself these experiences. You can buy, I mean, Marriott even offered as well private islands, buy the entire property, so you have no problem with Corona. Then people who were able to afford that could do that, even during the pandemic. But for the people who couldn't do that, this wasn't an option. So yeah, the wealthy people will continue to travel and they will buy themselves the exclusivity. And they will also get into destinations that are completely full, where other ones can't stay because it's booked fully. But I think that will go down again as the demand then eventually will spread across the world.
Okay, would you agree?
Well, I think it depends on which forms of tourism. I think transportation the prices will increase, and that will, of course, create problems in terms of mobility of tourists from overseas countries, for instance. In a sense, that will definitely happen because there's no way we can expect that we will have emissions-free airplanes in the near future. And we know that this is one of the major drivers of CO2 emissions in tourism. And every country knows about that, and the governments are thinking already what they can do in order to overcome this problem. So we will see in some parts where some forms of tourism will become more for wealthy people, in a sense. There will be or people will have to rethink in terms of how they travel. I mean, we may see other perspectives. We may see people who work permanently, let's say, in home office, and they will basically combine traveling with working, in a sense. And people will move when they work, and they will work from any place around the world. It will be a different form of travel. Instead of traveling just for a 1-week vacation to the Maldives, or you will basically move there with different means of transportation for the next 6 months, and come back and on the way work during that time. So we will see things we cannot even imagine at the moment in terms of changes. I'm not talking about changes that's going to happen within the next few years. It's going to take some while, but climate change will also not disappear within a few years. And so I'm pretty much convinced of that. And definitely business traveling will change. I mean, a lot of people, this is the good part of the pandemic, have learned now to deal with home office situation and dealing with remote working, in a sense. This will have a major impact on how conferences and the convention business will be organized in the future. This will definitely drop in the next few years, or will have a huge challenge, at least there. But in the long run, I think business travel will come back, and it will be a different form. It will be more an incentive form of travel. So the MICE business, the M will shrink, and the I will increase, in a sense, because at the end of the day, you meet other people around the world. You want to meet them in person as well, and companies will make sure that this type of direct contact will become possible. It will be not for meetings, but just for not for conferences, but for meeting people. And so traveling will become different, in a sense, and we will see ups and downs in different sectors.
I love that thought, because this is something which also relates a lot to this kind of blurring, of work life and private life. It's so funny when you said that, I had to remember like last week I talked to my corporate transformation team in Italy, and these people were for 4 weeks at Forteventura, working from Forteventura. So, and also our facilitators, last time I talked to one of our facilitators, he was sitting on an island with his truck, yeah, and he was like living there for 3 months, yeah. But this is definitely true. So this is even more than value-added services. These are new use cases in the industry, and this is how we come to the topic of innovation. And Beat, may I ask you again, when we really talk about different things, so not like surplus experiences of things that we had before as value propositions in the industry, but right, like really different value propositions that are developing. What are your experiences or also your predictions? So we had one topic that Carl mentioned about the blurring, and also like traveling for work will be different. It will be a blend, yeah, of enjoying other environments and working. Are there other different use cases that arise in these different industries that you see?
Yeah, I guess the most striking learning has been that we have learned that you can run countries and companies from home. So you don't need to be in office indeed. And I think having said this, everything which relates to individualization of your travel or adventuring, staycation, and indeed the, how is it called? Well, combining working and leisure. So everybody understands you can do your job perfectly from somewhere else in the world, so you don't need to be in office. I guess this is a phenomenon which bears a huge potential going forward. And just to repeat, obviously also the environmental aspects which are driving travel. And I guess it's a combination of all those very strong trends which we are going to see in the next decade, yes.
Okay, thank you. And you gave me a hint. I also would like to stress the topic of sustainability a little bit more. Yeah, sustainability, I mean, is always also linked to greenwashing in a way. We know that from the industry. So you could buy yourself, yeah, some emissions. What about the travel industry, which is also quite a stakeholder, yeah, from the industrial side? I mean, is this more these regulatory work going into the area of greenwashing? I'm also thinking of cruises, yeah, which have a tremendous impact also on environments, and this would be mass tourism. Will they greenwash themselves by just spending money on the topic of sustainability, or will travel industry definitely change to more sustainability?
I mean, this also comes back to the point that Carl said before about policy design. So if we can bring it back to a governmental level or a city level where we can regulate policies stronger or better, then we can also manage this topic of sustainability more, right? So we have seen in Venice before the corona pandemic that the cruises were already a problem. So Venice decided to already ban the cruises. So there is definitely something that on the governmental level or policy design level at least can be regulated to quite a large extent. I mean, greenwashing is something that can always happen, but if the policies are strong and resilient enough, the tourism industry should be able to implement that and still move forward in a sustainable and positive development.
Can cruises be sustainable at all?
I mean, that is another discussion point, but of course the volume that we have seen in the past before Corona, that was of course out of its control, right? But there are measurements within the cruise industry how you can make sure that people are behaving within the policy design that you want as a city, right? So you say I have an X number of cruises that come every month in my port. When they arrive, how do we deal with the trash? How do we deal with the waste? How do we deal with people coming into the city, like Dubrovnik, for example, or Venice? So there are different elements that you can regulate around the concept of cruise tourism, for example. Should we ban it completely? I mean, that is a completely different discussion.
Okay. Coming to Francesca, is sustainability a topic for you? I'm thinking of the bottles and
very much. Yeah, no, it has always been, but we feel that the consumers as well have become more sensitive about these topics.
Beer drinkers?
Yes,
yeah? Okay.
And especially in countries like Austria, we felt that there has been always quite more interest in the topic compared to many other countries in Europe. And we have for each of our global brands, for example, a different program that we, for many years, have been sustaining. So, for example, Budweiser in America, it's a lot about energy. So it's a high energy drink. And it's about energy sustainability. So we are sponsoring a lot of eolic energy, so with the wind. And we have quite a lot of programs about sustainable energy provision. And for Corona, for example, which is our outdoor brand and our ocean brand, there we have a quite strong politics against plastic and against oceans pollution. So we have, like for example, our materials, they are all completely sustainable, even in the trade marketing, everything that you can find in the stores. Now, for example, we have quite a lot of things out, and it's everything made of recycled paper or wood. So we are pretty strict on that. The costs are higher. So I remember I was already working in a company when we were still allowed to use plastic, and the cost for the materials were a lot lower. But that's a good price to pay, and also it looks more premium. Then everybody wins, right?
Okay, and you also measure your CO2 footprint?
Absolutely, absolutely. Also because the beer production is quite engaging in terms of energy and pollution. So we are really, really trying to make it the most sustainable possible. And actually, Budweiser is going to be, by next year, 100% produced with the renewable energy. So. And
by
Corona,
next year already, wow.
Yeah, and Corona packaging, we are looking into going 100% natural. On the ingredients, we're already there. So it's something we are really, really giving a look into.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does sustainability mean for like a local hotel? Is it also a topic at your end?
Absolutely. I mean, especially because sustainability and being green has become sexy, so everyone is following along on that. I just find it sometimes very funny. So we do a lot of things that help the environment, but the second part is always, do the customers or the really want it? And I'll give you a very simple example. For example, you're going on a tour through Salzburg City, and you're thirsty, and you're asking the hotel if they can give you a bottle of water. So if we give them a glass bottle, it's like, it's so heavy and I can't carry that, and it's going to break. So then you have the plastic bottle. And that is the same, you know, for example, we have changed now that all the amenities don't come in the little plastic bottles anymore, but in the big containers. But there are many people who think, but I want to take this little small one, like as a memory for me, this little lotion, and I like it so much. And then you don't have it in the small bottle. Of course, we can do it in a different one, made out of glass, for example, but then it's more expensive. And that's where we always get a little bit into the, yes, we are sustainable and we're pushing for it, but we also always need to wait until the consumer's awareness is really there to want to accept those changes.
So you say on the one hand, people want sustainability, but not if it's affecting like themselves, yeah? In ways of like loving the little bottles. What about the food? When it comes, for example, to fish, you could easily, especially in Salzburg, refer to local fish. Is that something which is part of your strategy in terms of food, that you also go for sustainability in food, not like more going local, yeah, in your supply?
100%. So we have both hotels actually, and I know of many of the other properties also here in Vienna and across the Marriage Change. We have tons of partnerships with the local farmers. And I mean, it also helps us, you know, in an advertisement way to show the people, when people travel from far away, they want to eat the local food and that is produced locally, and that you buy, when you're driving in with the train, you can see the orchard where your apple is coming from that you're late eating also at the property. So that is 100% something that we're following, but I would say most of the properties are following that.
Okay, great. We have around 10 minutes left, and I would like to come to one last topic, which stands a lot for Talent Garden, because we are always like we have in our mission to empower the tech community. So I would like to ask you a question around the topic of disruption, and I would like to pose that question first to you, Beat. Is there any kind of disruption that you can see at the horizon? Such kind of disruption like Netflix was for Blockbuster. So a real kind of disruptive development. Can you see that at the horizon? Maybe even accelerated through COVID. Can you see that for the industry, be it gastronomy, be it hospitality, be it tourism and travel? Is there anything that you can see such disruptive as Netflix versus Blockbuster?
Well, what a question. So I can't really generalize, and I don't want to state obvious things here. Well, what we are seeing, and we have seen like 1,000 startups in travel and hospitality the last 2.5 years. We are seeing potential moonshots or disruptors on a very small scale. So potentially there's 1 to 2% where you can say, oh gosh, they really do have the potential to, you know, go to the moon and back. And yes, all of them are really tech driven indeed. So we do see them probably more on an individual level, on a startups level, because they are outstanding strong teams, or because they have outstanding strong technology. But I can't generalize and say it's going to be this or that, other than all of the trends which we have already discussed. But I guess what we are seeing indeed is a lot of this is technology driven and people driven, and a good combination of both.
Okay, thank you. So because this is quite good news, so would you also agree, not such a big disruption behind the corner? Lydia, what would you say?
I mean, I think the Corona crisis somehow opened our eyes to think differently how we want people to experience the destination per se, but it also gave us this direct push to work with digitalization directly, right? So we can see that indeed technology-based startups have become much more prominent in the tourism industry. Before they were there, but I think now it's just in the middle of or a startup scene. If you think about robotics, VR and AR, that becomes much more prominent. We have a few startups that are rising around this topic. Personalized recommendations through your app. Where can I travel? What does my travel plan looks like? So I think those startups are replacing the ATOs that we have on the market right now. So personalized and also the biometrics. So when I travel, how does it work with face recognition, fingerprints, all these elements? I think in 10 years we will have a different way of going to the airport, getting to my hotel. How
more seamlessly.
Exactly, more seamlessly. Contact. Okay. I mean, touchless now is something that we want, right? I don't want to touch anything. So we see startups that were able to go into that pain point of the customer, and of course, Corona made this more prominent, and those will definitely take its stage and continue becoming popular.
So you mean for my next travel to San Francisco, I would not have to queue for 2 hours at the airport, at the immigration? This would be something
I mean,
really great.
Queuing is another whole perspective that Corona brought us, right? So social distancing, how do people want to queue up? What does a queue mean nowadays? What is waiting time? So that brings a whole different topic to the discussion. But I definitely think that it's indeed about personalization, niche markets, branding, storytelling, and AR, VR related implications.
Thank you. Karl, what is your bet?
Well, I think if you would know what would be the disruptive technologies of tomorrow, then we would all be very rich, I assume.
Yeah, tell me.
But so it's a very difficult question, which is very, very hard to answer. But I mean, more in line with what Lydia said in terms of artificial intelligence and let's say any type of application in this field will certainly have it's very will have impact. We don't know really in which form of applications we can see really see a change. But one thing maybe I want to add here, which somehow makes a bridge between our discussion before when we talked about sustainability and if you remember, we almost only discussed environmental impact. And sustainability is the social dimension we should not forget. Yeah? And particularly in the area of the social dimension, which is still overlooked by many tourism companies nowadays, I see a huge potential for very innovative startups and activities because it will become very important for not just for tourism destination marketing, but also for individual businesses to really engage the locals in their activities in the future. And that will become very important. And I think any type of startup, which I could see in this type of area and field, has a huge potential to be successful in the future from our perspective.
Wow, thank you. And this would also be very in line with the SDGs, where especially, I mean, social aspects are even more important. So the most important SDGs are more on the social topics. Yeah, thank you very much for this. Francesca, what would you say? Is there any disruption around the corner for your industry?
I actually totally agree on what they already said, because it also applies to our market mostly. I think that the concept of the full digitalization and delivery is going to be quite strong. It was already going to be, so it was already growing before COVID-19. Of course, it had quite a huge boost now. And I think that a lot of businesses have now been forced to take these touchless solutions and digital solutions. And I think they're quite happy with it now that they learned about how to manage them. And I think it's quite a big breakthrough that was coming anyway, but it's been quite boosted.
Thank you. Finally.
What would I say? Well, I would agree more over like these are trends, not necessarily disruptions. And specifically for the hotel industry, I would say number one is to watch out for our people. For all the people who work in hospitality, it has been a big change for them, and many of them sought also different industries. So how can we make our industry attractive also within the next 10 years to come? And the second part, which was already on the way, is how we interact with our customers. And traditional, and especially now when we're coming from sales, it was more that we shook the hand and say, hello, please come to our property, and that will fade away completely. I don't think we will interact also in the future in tourism when we sell our destinations. We will interact with the people face to face anymore, but it will be a lot more digitally online. And we saw that, of course, already with influencers, but even more than ever before, are they now in the forefront. And it's already happening. So I guess the disruption is already happening.
Okay, thank you very much. And to sum it up in one sentence, Beat, yeah?
Sorry, yeah, maybe adding to that
Yes.
Coming also back to the true potential, I guess what we will be seeing in the startups, Cosmos in travel and hospitality is. Now, when I said the disrupting technologies are already there, but just think of the combination of like 5G and batteries and what else we have, like quantum computing, etc. I think the overlap of all of those technologies, they be a real potential for moonshots and disruptive companies going forward. Those who can combine those technologies most smartly. So yes, indeed, there's huge potential ahead.
Thank you. So to sum it up, actually, it is two things that will absolutely transform the market that we outlined and really reflected here. And this is first of all the human factor, and secondly, tech. I think this would be a final sentence for this session. Thank you very much to all my panelists. We will now transform very disruptively into the jury of this event, and I may invite to the stage our campus manager, Raphael Jochmann, who will moderate the startup part, because we have 8 startups with us, right, Raphael?
9.
9 even, one
9
more
startups,
since last
yes.
hour. Wonderful. Wonderful. So in these startups will now have their pitches. We as the jury will sit here, have the opportunity to ask 2 minutes of questions after each pitch. And then we go out to have a little reflection on who will be the winner. Thank you very much for this very interesting panel discussion. And welcome the jury.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. So in a disruptive way, we talked about it, we will now change the stage. Thank you to the panel. Thank you also, Peter, for the moderation. My name is Raphael, I'm the campus manager of Talent Garden Vienna. I'm super happy that we have this kind of pitching session right now in our beautiful campus. We used to do this a lot pre-COVID, of course. For that reason, I'm more than happy to have these 9 amazing startups here virtually on stage. We always talk about community in Talent Garden. This time we were able to get startups from our own community, from Austria, from Italy, but also from the student sector. It was talked about before, disruption. I hope these 9 startups are able to provide some disruptive solutions in this sector. For the startups who are for sure very excited to start, I want to remind them that they have 3 minutes for their pitch, and they have 2 minutes for the jury for some little question and answer. After the pitching is over, after the 9 startups are finished, I will tell the jury to go out to face a decision, and in the meantime, the public and all the business, but also the startups, are invited to ask some questions on the different projects. As we have a very, very tight schedule, I want to invite Tobias with interactive paper to our virtual stage. Before we did some preparation, so it should work. Tobias, the stage is yours. The virtual stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. That's great. All right. Hi there. My name is Tobias, and I'm one of the co-founders of Interactive Paper. Advertising is a crucial driver for an effective economy. But there's one problem, because everyone hates advertising. And this leads to the fact that advertising is not effective on the one hand and not user-centric on the other one. But at Interactive Paper, we want to turn advertising into an experience. And let me show you how. So here is an interactive paper. You just place your phone onto the paper and press a button, and the interactive content appears on your phone screen. And so here's the deal. We want to make you a promise. Effective and user-centric advertising is more important than ever before. And we believe we can be a big part of recovering hurt industries. So we promise advertising that is first effective and second user-centric to make your business thriving again. For the gastronomy, we can provide the tool that makes your restaurant visitors excited about going out again. They place their phone on the interactive menu, touch a button, and order their meal. When they're done, they can leave a review. And this leads to more orders, to more ratings, and towards more revenue. This is the interactive menu. For tourism, we want to provide you with the perfect advertising tool to make people excited about traveling again. Your customers can view the area in 360 degrees before they even enter. And when they're there, they can use the interactive hiking map to engage with local tourism activities. And this leads to more tourists, more local engagement, and more revenue. For the hospitality sector, we want to provide the perfect booking tool. Your customers get the interactive paper via mail. They place their phone on the paper and book a room. Then they can also connect to local tourism. And all this leads to more bookings, to more excited customers, and bottom line, towards more revenue. For these three industries, we want to give 10% off every interactive paper product to help you make your business healthy again. And here are some of our customers who are already excited about the interactive paper and the infinite possibilities behind it. I'm very much looking forward to getting in touch with you. My name is Tobias, and I thank you very much for listening.
Well, Tobias, that was on point. That was exactly 3 minutes. Congratulations to the pitch, interactive paper, Tobias Macke. So maybe there's some questions from the jury you want to address directly to Tobias. He's on our virtual stage. Yes. Can you hear us, Tobias?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
So thank you for your pitch. Very interesting. I just have a question. Are you already on the market, or it's just because that was not there?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. We're on a screen now, but these are one of our, or like, let's say, our first customers in our lineup. And there are some big names, like, for example, Samsung, 3M, or Erste Bank.
And what kind of user response did you already got? What are users saying from your product?
The question is, what is the response rate for the interactive paper, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Of the users.
So so for every interactive paper campaign sent out, we have an average of 36% return rates. So usage rates of the interactive paper. And what is even more important is that we have an average usage time of 4 minutes per interactive paper.
Very nice, thank you. There's time for actually one more question. Yes, please.
I assume there are some electronic parts inside the paper. So what does a paper cost? What's the production cost of a paper?
That's also a great question. So we sell the interactive paper between 2 and 3 euros per piece, but in an all-in-one package, which contains of the interactive paper, the web tools, which is the content you can put on the interactive paper and easily create for your own interactive paper campaign, and also a data report, which shows transparent the data which is generated over the interactive paper.
Thank you very much. That's it for interactive paper. Thank you so much for the presentation. We will straight go on with Thread by Mandy and Alid. So welcome on the virtual stage, Thread and Alid from Thread.
Thank you. Can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
Same room for you guys, 3 minutes,
yep.
Now 2 minutes and 5 seconds.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Thread and we love baobabs. My name is Mandy.
I'm Alid, and our third team member is Mr. Baobab. Mr. Baobab is a wild fruit from Africa, and today we're going to talk about his role in the future of food.
More and more people are trying to eat healthy, yet a WHO study in Europe revealed 1 in 8 children between 7 and 8 are obese. That's 450,000 kids, or the population of Salzburg and Innsbruck put together.
As consumers, we care about the impact that the food has on the environment. Livestock alone emits more greenhouse gases than ships, trucks, and all other transports combined. So it's now clear that our current food system is no longer sustainable.
Yet, we've all been there, in the aisle of the supermarket, struggling to find the healthy foods. So how do we get the vitamins and the minerals we need without relying on supplements engineered in the lab? We believe nature has the answer.
Introducing Mr. Baobab. Baobab fruit powder is truly an amazing ingredient. Rich in antioxidants and vitamin C, it makes our skin radiant, it strengthens our immune system. Baobab is 50% fiber, a key for healthy digestion and a tool for weight management.
And keep in mind, Baobabs are not farmed. The fruits are foraged from the wild across Africa, so they don't contribute to the CO2 emissions. Unlike other superfoods, baobab has much more to offer. It has a great citrus taste and it thickens and improves texture.
Our mission is to unlock the full potential of the baobab ingredient by launching ready-to-eat products.
Our first product, baobab fruit jam. It's 100% natural, low in sugar, and rich in vitamins and minerals.
The jams are at least 90% fruit and rich in fibers and antioxidants.
And this is just the beginning. Fruit purees and juices, yogurts and ice cream, or as a baking ingredient. The opportunities are endless.
And best of all, our product supports rural Africa. It creates a direct link between our end consumers and our fruit collectors.
We aim to protect the ecosystem that baobab is part of. Imagine a greening of Africa tackling deforestation and climate change.
Join us. We seek an initial investment of €50,000 to launch our jams. Together, we will pioneer the baobab industry and have a greater impact.
It has been great presenting to you today. My name is Mandy.
I'm Alid, and we are Trad.
Thank you so much, Mandy and Ali from Fred. That was an amazing presentation. I'm already got hungry, so hopefully there's also some questions from the jury.
Yeah,
yes, please.
I would have a question. I mean, you said that baobab is growing wild. If you go mass, would that mean that you would have to cultivate the plant, or what could be your supply without contributing to CO2 by really cultivating the plant?
Oh yes, the baobab is abundantly available across Africa in more than 30 countries. So there was a study done in the southern region of Africa, and they estimated that naturally we have an annual yield of 107,000 tons of baobab fruit powder. So we're not going to run out. But it's an excellent question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there another question? We have time for another one.
Yeah, I have a question. Hi, Mandy and Alid.
Yes, please, Bert.
I was not really clear. Are you producing the baobab, or are you producing the products, or are you trading the baobab? So what is the core of your business model with your pitch?
I think like right now, so we have our own powder that we source and pack in Germany, right? But what we've done is we've developed prototypes, a jam prototype and a flavored yogurt prototype. So we want to increase the complexity, and we want to start with a jam. And that's why we're reaching out to the community. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Think of B2B too.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mandy and Ali. See you later at the Q&A session after the other startup project.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We go on to the next startup by Ronja. It's called Fashion Touring. Very excited to hear about that. Ronja, the stage is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Can you see my screen now?
We can see your screen perfectly.
Okay. Perfect. So let's start. Good afternoon. My name is Ronja, and I'm the founder of Fashion Touring. This is my past. In 1935, my great-grandfather founded his first department stores in Germany. For the last 15 years, I grew up in this whole environment of the textile industry and customer service. After my studies in Austria and Sweden, I started to work for well-known media companies. Combining my two passions, shopping and traveling, brought me to the idea of fashion touring. Because when you arrive in a foreign city, it always looked like that. Big global players of the fast fashion industry popped up, but I was always looking for a local fashion experience. And even for the local brands in the shops, it is not easy to attract the attention of international customers. And for me, it's not easy to find them because it's a time-consuming research. And even as a tourist, when you arrive in a city, you are facing many challenges. So I figured out, okay, how is it possible to link my sightseeing activities with my individual shopping interests? There was no solution on the market, so I had to create one. And these are 3 friends coming from London, and they're planning a trip to Vienna with Fashion Toury. So they arrive in the city and discover the cities and its sightseeing attractions. And it's possible with Fashion Toury to personalize the tour and to add local shopping opportunities on top. This is how we make it possible for all our tourists and as well, of course, for locals to shop moments and memories. And at the end, they belong to a special community because they are supporting local economies and they become fashion tourists. So we give local brands a stage to support them on and offline. And that is our strategy, how we keep the stationery trade as well alive. In the future, Fashion Toury should exist as an app. We would like to add gamification. And for the e-commerce, we would like to expand the e-commerce with a new virtual shopping experience. So these are our awards and achievements so far and our existing network. We have invested 100,000 euros so far into the development of the platform. For the last few weeks, 56 companies have been registered already. We're going to start our media coverage with next week. We launch our YouTube channel, and there are already international fashion tourism ambassadors out there discovering new brands for us. So how Corona influenced the tourism and retail industry? Of course, these are the 2 most hit industries. And I think Fashion Toury could be a great tool because with our multi-channel system later on, even if the stores are closed, we could help them because people could still continue to shop online as well. And there was a positive change too, because the support of local economies gained in importance in our society. This is our Fashion Toury team, and this is how you could support us.
And you have 10 seconds, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, and yeah, so please be a Fashion Toury too, get in touch with us, and thank you very much for your attention.
Wow, thank you so much, Ronja. Sorry for interrupting. We have a super tight schedule, but I saw you finished. It's definitely something I will look into the next time I'm in a new city when we're allowed to travel again. So, from the jury, is there any questions left after this amazing pitch?
I would have a question. I guess there are also filters available, so I can personalize my experience. What kind of filters do you have, and how do you select?
Yeah, do you see my screen at the moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so this is our webpage. And it's very easy. You can just click on the brands, and there are several categories. So main categories, for example, which products you would like. There is a style category. And what is very important to me is the special category. So you can really look and search for sustainable products, fashion and tech items, which is coming more and more. And so you can really personalize everything at the moment. We are focusing on the brands at the moment because they are our first customers. And we already include the tourism industry as well.
Clear, thanks.
I would have a question.
Yes?
Sorry, Bea, first there's another question on site.
My question was just what benefits do the stores have for signing up with you? And is there any commission that they get? Or you in that sense for linking them, or if someone purchases there?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I could show you, for example, one store. Let's take this one, like Magic Oyster. So they're gonna have an online shop window. So everyone will have the short information. So it's really like a digital platform. They don't need any Facebook anymore, Instagram, everything. They can just focus there because their target group to get international customers and local customers, Fashion Toury will be the place to be in the future. And you can as well connect with them in sending them any feedback. And with clicking on the luggage symbol, you can put them in, and integrate them in your tour. We're going to have a blog opportunity as well. And I think your question is as well for our business model. So I could switch to this slide. So for Fashion Toury users,
maybe that's something we can discuss after the pitching contest. We have a Q&A session for that as well. Super tight schedule. Sorry, thank you for this amazing presentation.
I will answer all the questions later.
We'll pick your first things first at the next presentation. We'll jump to UNCO Club by Andrew. I'm very excited about this project as well. So please enter the stage and share your screen. Thank you so much.
Hello.
Andrew, we can hear you. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Andrew.
Here's my presentation. Can you see it?
Yeah, we can see your presentation, we can see your face, and we can hear your voice. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'm Andrei, and I'd like to talk about untrained personnel. They have not performed for more than a year and have lost some fake qualifications. How difficult it will be to return to normal working life? How to start until the restrictions are lifted and do it better than a neighbor? What about extra food flow and income COVID restriction? We are Unka Club, and we have a solution. Unka Farmers Corner in Horeca. It is a part of our business model, digitalization business process and farm to table and reducing number of intermediaries. In general, we bring consumer and producer closer together for a nice price for the consumer and for increasing producer's profit. Uber, Booking.com, Airbnb, that's the inspiration for our business model. It is based on our 5 years of experience in the e-grocery format. And now we are building an easy scaling solution for farm to table. The food market has stable growth for many years. Digitalization of the food market is fast growing, but anyway, it is just about 15% of total volume there now. And Unka Club has a solution that can start very fast in every city. It is based on Horeca as a pickup point and for cross-docking and supply chain with 3PL and independent contractors. This is our business model, marketplace with SaaS and franchise elements. Horeca involvement. We have already started to implement our MVP. Here you can see one of our monetization points, order and pickup point in one of the cafes in Berlin. We name it Unka Farmers Corner. Cafe are paying subscription fee for us. We are building a fulfillment service. Easy to start, easy to earn. Convenient and up-to-date selling method for farmers. Easy to start, easy to earn for hotels and cafes. Extra food flow and extra income for Horeca. Our team has 6 people with strong IT background, Horeca and logistics. We believe that the future what economics will be based on crowd economy and digitalization, like blockchain, BlaBlaCar, Airbnb, and many others. We have 5 years of experience in the e-groceries format, and we can see the record. Here you can see the result of our farm table in Berlin. Now we are preparing to start a new model marketplace with elements of SaaS and franchise. Some of the elements are already profitable, some we are testing, and some we are still to be done. Now we are looking for pre-seed, 200K for full MVP, develop Unka Smart Box, and for the metrics for the next round. And the autumn 2021, we will raise next round for scaling in 10 cities. Thank you.
Wow, it was awesome here. Perfectly on point. Thank you so much for the presentation. Was a pleasure. Also looking forward to some Q&As afterwards. Now we'll ask directly the jury. Are there any questions to Andrew directly now? Maybe from Beat this time, to not overrule again.
No.
Okay, if everybody doesn't have any questions, I think it was a perfect presentation. No questions left here. Thank you, Andrew, for that. Maybe I'll have a question for you later. And therefore, we can already jump to a next startup, which is actually located at Talent Garden Vienna. It is growing from here in our beautiful campus. It's Christina from my Olaf, and she told me she doesn't have a presentation. She's going to do it freestyle, so perfect. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Is it working already?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so hi, I'm Christina. I'm the co-founder of Olaf. We have a rather traditional startup. It's basically a cookware startup. So our main product is the Olaf frying pan. And the great thing about Olaf is we're a direct-to-consumer brand. So we sell our products directly to our customers. So our team sees itself actually as a tech startup. So we only sell our products on our website, and we have all the data about our customers. So we can target our customers very precisely. Besides, we have a very small product category. So we only have a frying pan, a knife, and pots. and we produce every product ourselves at a production plant. So we develop all our products ourselves, and every product that we do is done together with our customers. So it takes us a lot of time, but we solely make products that are wished by our customers. By doing so, we reduce things that customers don't want and truly want. For our first product, the copper core Olaf pan, we offer, for example, recoating service, because more than 90% of European households are cooking with a coated pan. And as you might know, coating comes off or doesn't work at one point anymore. So people can send in their Olaf frying pan, and we recoat the pan again. So it's a rather sustainable solution for our customers so that they can keep it. And we do, for example, the same with our new product, which is the Olaf chef knife. We also have a sharpening service, and we try to really focus on the needs of the customers. Corona was good and bad for us. Since we started in July 2019, we were always sold out, and our customers were so kind to always finance ourselves. So we're still 100% independent. So customers pay in advance, wait between 8 and 12 weeks for the Olaf pan. However, due to Corona, it took us more than 6 to 8 months, and we were super happy that our customers waited this time for us. And yeah, one of the main lessons that we learned, we are even closer to our customers due to Corona. So we do an online Zoom event with cooking each month. We had super close communication. So we talked to them nearly every week about the status, and we were super lucky that they waited for a whole 6 months until they got the product. So that's about Olaf.
Thank you so much, Christina. And I saw that you also had a timer here, so it was also probably on point. We know that Olaf team obviously because they're working at Talent Garden Vienna. So see you tomorrow, Christina, in person. From the jury, are there any questions? Please.
Thank you for your presentation. I like that you did it freestyle, but it would be nice to see the brand vibe and to see the product, because I can imagine how a pan looks like, but it would be nice just to, even if you would have that parallel, would have made the story a bit more easier to follow.
Yes, it's basically a pen, but it's a beautiful pen. I can try to, I don't know, Rafael, can I still show my screen?
Yes, you should be able to share your screen. You have 45 seconds, no, 1 minute.
So why would I buy the Olaf pen? That's not clear.
We're actually sold out, so you have to wait 8 weeks. It's always a running joke. One of our customers told me the last time that the Tesla even came first before Olaf. So unfortunately, again, the Suez Canal killed us this time. So it's always a waiting time still.
Christina, where do you produce?
Yeah, we're completely transparent. We only work with fair producers. The Olaf cookware products are done in Shanghai. Our chef knife is done in Solingen in Germany. So we always go with quality, but we're geography independent. I can't share it somehow,
Don't worry, Christina.
but you could Google it.
Exactly, and maybe you can bring into the Q&A session a real version of the pen. Then we have a real example. Or is
Yeah,
also
yeah, I will. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. We will jump to the next participant because we have still 4 starters to come. This time I will please chat Cam from Erwin to join us on the virtual stage to present their amazing project.
Hi there, can you hear me, guys?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, then I'm
and I can see you as well.
Sharing my screen, so hopefully it works in a second. Are you seeing my screen already?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, so here we go.
And now we can all see your presentation. 3 minutes. Good luck.
Okay, hi everyone. This is Erwin from JetCam. JetCamp is the leading marketplace for searching and booking a camping. Roderick and I, Roderick on the right, we set up roughly 18 months ago. And what we are doing is that we are operating in a €5 billion revenue market, a huge market with 500 million room nights. It grows 3% on a yearly basis. France, Germany, UK, and Italy are the main growth drivers, both from a supply and from a demand side. What are our USPs? Why do we do this? JetCamp is the only marketplace that aggregates inventory from all campings, and on those campings, from the camping itself, from operators, from tour operators, and from individual owners. In one view, in one place. We fix 3 important customer issues. We provide a one-stop shop. They can see price and availability. They also, if a private owner has an own mobile home, he can advertise it at the camping. We also fix 3 important camping wishes: a fully automated booking process, free listing, no entry fee, and low commission, no Q&A pay. We do this following 3 strategic drivers. We make all campings bookable. We use best UX, best user experience, and we use best-in-class content. So we have content of over 170,000 photographs, 230,000 points of interest, and a geodatabase of over 900,000 places, provinces, etc. JetCamp growth. We are, as I said, 18 months in the running, and we currently see a year-on-year growth in visitors of roughly 900%. We estimate roughly 10,000 visitors per day during the top peak months in July and August. What are we doing to become strategic market leader in 24? This is our roadmap. We are seeking a cool million in the third quarter of this year to realize our strategy and to become market leader in 24. And why would you invest in JetCamp? It is a fragmented market. There's no thought worldwide leader. Mobility clubs, which are our competitors, they are restricted by the physical borders. They are also running on one foot at a time because they also have a print material that they have to look after, which is hampering their online activities. OTAs like Booking.com or Airbnb or even Holidoo or others, or they provide listings per accommodation. So you have huge amounts of listings, but not aggregated on the camping. And we're, after these 12 to 18 months, already have technically caught up with our main competitors like AMWB, Camping Info, Pincamp, in terms of scalability, bookable campings, technology, etc. That's it. Thank you for your attention, and glad to take any questions.
Thank you so much for this presentation. It's funny because we talked during the panel exactly about this sector within the tourism industry. So I'm very excited to hear some questions of the jury about this project.
I will have a question if possible.
Yeah.
Congrats for the idea. It's really nice. And I was wondering if you did any special COVID activation in this period.
Well, special COVID activation, you said.
Yeah, like
I think we
something
did.
specific that you did.
Absolutely, we did. As of the start last year in March, we immediately activated a COVID blog in 6 languages, keeping up to date all the restrictions in all our countries that we service, both from a visitor point of view, one side to the other, as from the other side. So for Italians, what the restrictions are towards the European countries and vice versa. That's one thing we did. The other thing we did is that we immediately entered a couple of facts per campsite, whether or not they had specific COVID regulations or whether they had specific facilities that people would want to look for. So such as, for example, private sanitary or private check-in, etc.
Thank you very much. There's time for another question.
Do you only aggregate existing camping sites, or also do you develop new locations yourself?
Well, we don't develop campsites ourselves. but we do list any thing that comes close or is a camping. Well, that means that we continuously add new campings, which can either be farmhouses that have a couple of tents on their premises, or small campsites in nature, or larger ones, or new pop-up campings, which is a trend at the moment. Because of the entertainment industry is unable to put their tents anywhere else, they're setting up campsites. So we do add a lot also during the season, but we don't operate campsites ourselves.
Thank you very much, Erwin. It's something I will definitely look into because it's very, very interesting as myself. We jump right to the next candidate. It's Sarah from Brüssli, so could be an Austrian participant. Please, Sarah. Sarah, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
If Sarah, now we can hear you. All good?
Can you also see me?
Now we can see you as well. Perfect.
So can you also see my screen?
Yes, now we can also see your screen.
Perfect. Have you ever wondered what happens to all the bread that is still on the shelves at supermarkets and bakeries by the end of the day? Actually, every fifth of this bread is not sold until the evening, which accounts to as much as 70 tons of bread disposed daily in Vienna, which is as much as the city of Graz consumes daily. We have a solution for this food waste: Brüssli. Brüssli is crunchy cereal from unsold bread. We refine bread with spices, nuts, and berries and create a unique breakfast experience. With this, we are able to save 1 kilo of bread with every kilo of eaten cereal. And additionally, not only reduce CO2, but also save 1,410 liter water. Crunchy cereal is the most favorite breakfast option in Europe, and it's a growing market with an annual growth rate of 3.4%. We are part of this market, and we have convinced traditional bakery chains such as Ströck, Geier, and Mann to work together with us. We help them reduce their food waste and create a sustainable brand image, and also sell Brüssli at their bakery stores. After 6 months of market validation, we have refined our recipes and launched Brüssli in February this year. 1 month afterwards, in March, we were able to place Brüssli in retail markets in whole Austria. And in June, we save as much as 10 tons of bread per month. By the end of the year, we are aiming for 50 tons a month and already be available in southern Germany. So far, within these 3 months of time, we have created 40,000 euro of revenue and are aiming for 800,000 by the end of the year. We have a 21% returning customer rate and a wide media coverage in print, but also in TV, such as 2 Minutes 2 Million, ORF, and Puls 4. We envision a society that cares about resources and food. And with Müsli for Future, we give them a tool to reduce food waste easily and without any effort. Our aim is to save 10,000 tons of bread until 2025 and be available in over 9 countries in Europe. To reach this goal, we need an investment of 1 million euro for market expansion, product development, and to grow our team. If you want to be part of the Brüssli story, I'm happy to answer your question and give you more information. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you very much. Congratulations to this project. Really nice pitch, and I'm sure there are some questions now from the jury.
Yeah, I have one. Hi, Sarah.
Beat, please, this time, please, Beat.
Yeah, thanks. Very well pitched. Well done. So question is, how do you organize the logistics to collect the bread? Just in a short answer, please.
We have partners for logistics, so we collect the bread daily from the bakeries, which are big bakery chains. We get them from their center where they collect all their bread. And we work with a partner that also helps us in producing the granola.
Okay, thanks.
I think there was another
I
question.
just had a very simple question. How much it cost?
What's the price? How much does it cost? Is one of the questions.
$5.95.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And there's a
You're
third
welcome.
question because it was a very short question.
Very short question with regard to your value proposition to consumers. I understood the sustainability aspect. However, like my first perception is that it's not that healthy because it's not maybe full grain. So I do not exactly know what is inside and is it like really healthy? This is my question. And what is your value proposition to consumers?
Regarding the healthy aspect, it's still a crunchy cereal, but we use rye and whole wheat bread only, so no white bread. So we have like a good nutritional aspect too. But still, of course, it contains sugar, but we are aiming for also a reduced sugar version in the future.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Sarah. 2 startups are remaining. The next one is actually from Talent Garden Italy, from Milan. So ciao to Milan. Mera Cinque, Silvia, is going to show us her project.
Hello, hi to everyone. I'm going
Hello,
to share
Silvia.
my screen. Just 1 second. Can you see my presentation?
So far we cannot, but we can see you.
Okay.
And we can hear you.
Let me try again. Okay. Now, yes.
Now it's perfect. 3
Okay.
minutes. Good luck.
So hello to everyone. My name is Silvia, and I'm the co-founder of Mera Cinque. Mera Cinque is a family project that started 4 years ago. We are 5 sisters, and we decided to cover one of our dad's agriculture business and bring it to the next level, producing the best Canaroli rice that you could ever find in the market. So our mission when we began was so clear and was the one to guarantee the best Canaroli rice while respecting the entire ecosystem, combining our tradition principles with the cutting-edge technological innovations. What we do exactly, we cultivate Canaroli rice, which is considered the king of rice, and we sold only 100% of the real seed, and we don't use any kind of sub-category. We are based in Mantua, which is a strip of land between Venice and Lombardy, where we have a very unique soil that allows us to grow a very particular cereal. We like to define our production method as something very unique that allows us to introduce the sustainable agriculture of the future. We do many different things, and we like to summarize all of them in 5 points, as we are 5 sisters. So first point is the micronatural method. We don't use any kind of chemicals or pesticide in order to fight against the disease, but we use a technology from Japan, and we are the only one in Italy, but even in Europe, to use this technology. Then we do 4.0 agriculture. That means that we use all the latest technology in order to get the best achievable result with the lowest of input and the lowest impact on the environment, which is very important. Then we aged our paddy rice for 1 year in our silos in order to ossify the grain and guarantee the best yield while the cooking time. Then we dry our cereal with a super innovative dryer that works with the LNG technology that leaves no trace of hydrocarbons on the product. And there are only 2 dryers in Italy that work with this kind of technology. Then, last but not least, we respect the environment, but for real. We strongly believe in the concept of sustainability, and we are investing in it, doing, for example, soil mapping, cover crop, minimum tillage, land rotation, and last year we decided to invest also for what concerns our packaging, and we launched 100% compostable packaging. The packaging that you can see now, it's compostable, and it means that it decomposes in 90 days without leaving any trace of microplastic. We are the first in Italy and in Europe that use this film. And also we wanted to invest in the blockchain technology. So if you scan the QR code that you find on our products, you land on a page we have developed this project with Varo Group, which is a multinational that works with the blockchain. So you land on the page and you see all the action from seed to packaging that we have developed in order to cultivate and
10 seconds left. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
I know, it's
but
a
I
short
finished,
time.
so it's okay.
Thank you very much. Greetings to Talent Garden Italy. If you have time, if you're able to come to us to the Talent Garden Vienna, and we can do a good exchange on the various startups we have here. Now, thank you again for the presentation, and the jury has some questions to Mera Cinque.
I was wondering, hi, congrats. I was wondering if you're selling mainly in Italy or abroad, or if it's the same.
Okay, so our main market at the moment is the Italian market, of course. We mainly work with the Horeca channel, but we are also present in France, in Switzerland. I've opened a new distributor in Austria last week. Then we are in UK, in Sweden, in Denmark, and Luxembourg. So these are the markets that we are in at the moment.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Is there another question, maybe?
What is the most innovative part of your product no one else does?
This is a good question. We have so many points that no one does at the moment. So mainly the fact that we use the micro-natural method is something very super innovative. Then the fact that we do 4.0 agriculture. In Italy, only the 1% of the company use all the technology that I was mentioning before. So these 2 points. And then, yes, the 100% compostable packaging. This is a really super innovation. It was so difficult to implement this sustainable packaging, but we did it. And this is something that the others do not have at the moment.
Thank you very much, Silvia from Mera Cinque. Greetings again to
Talent
Garden Italy. And now, last but not least, we have Jonas from Experience presenting his startup. So, welcome, Jonas.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
I can see your screen.
Okay. We are Experience, and we are here to satisfy 2 market demands. Finding activities and finding new friendships. The reason behind our idea is that we founders personally experience problems in the leisure time market. I, for example, often feel myself bored inside of my apartment, craving to go out and play football with my friends, but my friends often being busy or not interested in playing football. So I thought, there must be other people out there having the same problems as I have, and there must be ways to bring all of these people together. So what if there would be an independent platform that would facilitate meetups for these activities? And that's why we're introducing Experience. Experience offers an area of exciting activities, so no time will be lost anymore on finding activities or people to do it with. You can simply go on the app and create an activity for whatever you want to do. So if you're, in my case, want to go out and play some football, you create an activity called Football in Vienna. So other people will then go on the app, browse through the activities created by others, find your activity, look at the description and join that activity, and later meet up with you to play football or do whatever other activity. And that is the idea at the heart of Experience, combining fun activities with long-lasting friendships through one easy-to-use platform. Experience is built on the idea of advertisement partners, professionals, and associates. Professionals are event hosts that can put their events on our platform and handle ticket sales via it. Associates are hospitality companies that will be listed on our platform and will be proactively suggested to users. Through our commission-based system and our commercial revenue, we expect to gain a revenue of 1.3 million in the first 3 years. We plan to launch our first MVP version in Vienna in this year in August. Afterwards, we want to expand to German cities in 2022, followed by major European cities 1 year afterwards, where we expect to have a user base of already 400,000 users. We hope that we sparked your interest and you're ready to revolutionize the leisure time market with us. We are raising 150,000 euros for an equity share of 20%. So take the chance and grow together with us to launch experience to the Viennese market and go beyond.
Thank you very much, Jonas. I think experiences is something we definitely need after this long COVID time. Also about this we talked about during the panel discussion. I want to ask the jury if there are any questions to Jonas. Yes, please.
How are you planning to differentiate yourself from many of these meet-up and Airbnb activities? There are already various platforms that offer similar things.
Yeah, I would directly go and compare it with Meetup. Meetup is nowadays not really focused on this market segment that we are targeting, these young students and young people that just want to do activities together. Meetup is on the one hand, it costs for the users, and on the other hand, it's more focused on business activities. So we're kind of differentiating us there to go more into this activity-based young market segment.
Hi, Jonas. What is your plan to generate as many customers as fast as you can, let's say in just one city like Vienna? What's the plan in 2 sentences?
Like we definitely have to make use of the networking effect. So it's important to reach a critical mass to make our platform attractive. So we are doing a lot of social media marketing right now. We have our partners. We have partnered with 3 Vienna universities already that will promote our application to university students. And we will further expand the marketing via our means that we get through financing. So more social media marketing using influencers and word of mouth.
Thank you very much, Jonas with experience. That was the pitching event. Now I kindly ask the jury and our moderator Petra to physically really change the room, face the decision, and we see each other within 15 minutes, and then we know who is the winner of this pitching contest. Thank you very much for presenting. Thanks to the jury, and see you in a second. And for the rest of all the people who are listening, also the startups, except of you, Bear, because you're physically going with a laptop to discuss with the jury the final result. If there are any questions, please write us on YouTube. They will forward the questions to me. Also, I have some questions prepared. And also, if the startups have some questions, want to connect with the other startups, please feel free. I'll give you 30 seconds for the questions, and then I will get back with my questions. Thank you very much. And the pitches were amazing. I told you we were waiting a long time to have this kind of event again at Talent Garden Vienna. Hopefully next time you can be with me on stage and get the round of applause you really deserve in this kind of setting. Christian, do we already have some questions posted online? So far not. Then I would like to know from JetCap, it was touched before from Erwin, how COVID and how the whole COVID situation somehow influenced your business. Was the camping idea you had already before, and I call it now the Airbnb of camping, correct me if I'm wrong, or was COVID the main driver?
Yep. Can you hear me? I think you can.
Yeah, I can. Yes.
Yep. COVID was not the main driver. We had the idea before that. How did COVID influence our start? Yeah, quite big, I would say. People immediately started from browsing and booking back in March last year, from browsing regulations or searching for regulations, what was possible, what was not. and it really impacted our bookings over last summer. But at the end, it also provided an opportunity. People are far more searching for outdoor holidays than they have been before. Camping in the Netherlands exploded tremendously. So it also has provided with an opportunity, and I think we're building upon that.
Thank you so much, Erwin. I have a second question for Brüsli, for startup, because it's a startup really much connected to fighting against food waste. We in Talent Garden, we have some kind of history with food waste related startup. Too Good To Go, a very well-known application, was hosted in Talent Garden. So my question is, do you plan any kind of cooperation with this food waste startup, which has a very similar goal, or do you think you have a USP there and there's no cooperation needed in this field? Sarah.
Thank you. Yeah, sure, that's super interesting for us. I mean, they're fighting for the same mission and vision as we are doing. So we have the same goal, and I think it makes totally sense to find a cooperation for us together.
Perfect. Then you should come to Talent Garden and we do some kind of networking activities there. It's a very interesting
Definitely.
project.
Thank you. That would be amazing.
Christian, can you maybe read the question, because I'm not able to read it?
We have one question for Fashion Tuli, and it's about, can you elaborate on your business model, especially how much it costs for stores and how you earn money?
Yeah. Should I share my screen once again? I think so.
Yes, please. Now you can. Now we have the time. Sorry for before.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so can you see my screen for now?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So for our business model, it works like that. That for the users, it's for free, because we have to get the community and the crowd that is really being active, an active member. And for the stores, it works like that they have a monthly paid membership fee. And we have the e-commerce, hopefully soon, with another investment, it will be possible. And we're going to make affiliate marketing with tourism and brands. We have advertising on our webpage, and we are curating content. For example, we are already doing YouTube videos, interviews, and we had a commercial as well for some stores already in plan. And we're going to make matchmaking with the brands. For example, if you're going to have a brand that is only existing online, for example, a jewelry maker, and she or he cannot afford a stationary trade or the rent, so we bring the companies together. So it makes more sense for them to sell maybe more to their customers. And and there's as well, the opportunity for a personal shopping experience. So what we did so far, I can show you here. We did already a local pop-up Christmas tour where we brought international tourists together, and it was hosted by Wombats, so we can do that as well. So Vienna Vintage Tour or Vienna Sustainable Tour, whatever. So we could bring fashion touring into reality. And of course, there's the hotel booking option. And for the affiliate marketing opportunity, it could be possible that we're going to have as well some of the sales of the museums or any events that are happening in the city, and people can purchase it through Fashion Touring as well in the future.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Very elaborated answer. Thank you very much. Is there another question?
Yes, we have some other questions. The next one from Bernard Hammer. Interactive paper, interactive paper. What is the difference to simply use a QR code? Is it working with NFC?
Yes, I think that's one of the most asked questions. And the thing is, the difference between a QR code is simply the user experience, but it makes a whole lot of difference. If you compare user rates for a simple QR code, it's actually not comparable to the interactive paper itself. For a QR code, you're talking like 0.02% of user rates, and we're talking about 36. So this makes a lot of more sense to use an interactive paper in this regards. And yes, we use NFC as the connection point between the smartphone and the paper. but we have a patented technology which is actually integrated into the interactive paper itself, and it's for the whole technology of the interactive paper, for the production process for the interactive paper. So it consists of two parts, and yes, so I think that's the center for this.
Thank you very much, Tobias. Very interesting question. Is there another one posted on YouTube?
The next question, Ed Brüsli, do you have any possibility to expand behind bread? And did the customer realize any taste difference? I mean, probably between usual muesli and your muesli.
What was the first part of the question? Sorry.
The first one, can you think of any possibility to expand behind bread? Like,
is there any other possibilities that not just using bread for the muesli, but also other food waste materials, I would call it now?
I mean, sure, definitely there are options like using also kind of, if I don't know if you know the startup Unverschwendet, using fruits, for instance, which are also left over. I mean, this is not our main focus. We're really focusing on bread and finding different and other products that tackle the same problem in a different kind. So not only talking about cereal.
And was there any taste difference from customer feedback between this? And
is there any taste difference if you think about your muesli and the conventional muesli product? Because in the end, that's maybe something boring for the customer because it's made out of food waste. We all know if we're in the sector, there's nothing wrong with this kind of food. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, so we take this high quality bread, which is actually still fresh. It's not old. It's just has not been sold, and we give it a second chance. And what customers say is like it's super crunchy, and we have two different recipes. So we have this one like more chocolate taste, where people are like, oh, it's really chocolatey, like Nutella style, and the other one is fruity and cinnamon. So it reminds some people on children experience eating cereals at the table. But what they always mention is the crunchiness of the product as a cereal, also as toppings for breakfast.
Okay, next question. I will continue with Brüsli because the latest question is again to Brüsli, and then we covered this very good. How do you plan to scale up the business model and to achieve your goals? I would say, I'm not sure how it's meant, but the holistic goal of fighting food waste, I would say.
So with our current setup, we are already able to save 50 tons of bread per month. So this is a good to start. We repeat our model also in Western Austria and Germany. So we have set up the cooperation. It's just like we have to repeat it, scale up with our partners, and taking also into consideration retail markets that also are willing to support us with their bread. So not only talking about bakeries. So there is enough bread for us to turn it into delicious granola.
Thank you very much. Super
You're
cool
welcome.
startup. Next question is to Jonas from Experience, and it's a rather simple one. When will Experience be live?
Yeah, thanks for the question. We will launch our most valuable product, a minimum valuable product this summer in August in Vienna. So it will be basically live this summer already to also kind of make use of this after Corona phase where everybody wants to go out and make exciting activities.
This kind of phase we are calling at Talent Garden the next Roaring 20s. We all hope that these next Roaring 20s are going to come. Actually, the question was asked by Erwin from JetCamp, so maybe there's already some kind of connection to connect the Airbnb of camping with Experience. I don't see any other questions from the YouTube channel now. I have another question to Thread, to Mandy and Alit. I have two questions actually. What does Thread, what is the name meaning? What does the name mean? And do you plan more on the B2C or more on the B2B side to sell your product in long term?
Thanks for the question. I'm going to answer the first one. So Träd is Swedish and means tree. So it's truly our mission to protect the trees. And background for that is that Alit is from Sweden.
Sorry, I didn't get it. There was no good connection. Where's Ali from?
Ali is from Sweden. So this is the reason why we called it TAD.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then.
Very cool. And do you plan to be more on the B2C or more on the B2B side with your product?
I think like our main target is actually mothers with children who care about the nutrition that their kids get, right? So that's our main target. But of course, in the future, we see a lot of potential collaborations with restaurants or hotels who offer jams, for example. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Christian, are there any more questions from the YouTube? If not, I have a questions to my Olaf, because I'm tried as well, but my Olaf is a very traditional product. It's not an online platform, I would say. It's a product which already has been there before. Do you plan to be more digital in a way, or are you trying to stick to your traditional product and sell it on the e-commerce channel you already developed?
We want to stay with the traditional product. So no gimmicks for cookware, actually.
No gimmicks, no platform, no cooking classes.
Yeah, we do cooking classes already, but it's a rather pragmatic approach. So we do it via Zoom. And I don't think that we will ever do a digital platform around that to increase the experience.
Okay. A following question maybe. I know that you're expanding to Italy right now.
Yeah, we do.
To the Italian market. What are the main challenges for you? And also that with this Corona situation, that traveling is of course more difficult. How do you cope with that?
It's difficult to say, but thanks for this question, Raphael. So yeah, I think cooking is a very emotional topic. So it takes time until you understand the country. So with Italy, we just started and we had first sales, but now there are no more sales. So it's a difficult time now for cookware now, because restaurants start to reopen, and I think people won't cook for a long time because they had to cook so much during the last year. So yeah, you have to go step by step and see what people want from us and how we have to adapt culture-wise.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Speaking about Italy, I have a question to our Italian startup, to Meracinque. I've been living in Italy, so I know that the rice is really special in Italy. But can you maybe explain to this international audience what makes it so special?
Sorry, can you repeat, because I didn't get the question. I didn't hear you that well, so.
Can you tell us what is so special about this Italian rice? What makes it different to conventional products? You can find also in the supermarket in Austria, Germany.
Okay, in the world exist two different category variety of rice. It's the Indica variety and the Japonica variety. The Indica variety is cultivated in Asia. The Japonica is in Europe. Italy is the first producer of rice in Europe, and we do so many different varieties. But the most important one, and the favorite one by chefs and Michelin star restaurants, is the Carnaroli rice, because the grain is a better grain, and it guarantees a better yield during the cooking, and it absorbs better all the other ingredients. And for this reason, it's considered the best variety in the market that you can find. So this is the world of rice. If you go to a supermarket, a normal supermarket chain, you can find a Carnaroli variety. But if you find the only word Carnaroli, it means that you are buying a subcategory. If you find the word classico, we have, for example, the word classico, it means that you are buying the real one, so not the fake one. So in GDO, you just find the subcategories, and if you want something more premium, you have to go in other channels. But at the moment, we are trying to entering also in the GDO channel with the real one. So it's not that easy, but we will start soon.
Thank you so much, Silvia. What I just saw is that the jury came back. I think it's too late now to say good luck to all the participants because the decision is made. Anyhow, we'll present now the winner of this pitching competition, and I will kindly ask our partners to the stage. And then, again, good luck, guys.
Yeah, thank you very much, Raphael. Thank you very much to all of you, especially to those that pitched. It was not that easy to come to a conclusion. However, I must also say that there was a big agreement on our final decision. And this decision will actually be communicated by Beat Blaser from Falkensteiner, and he will also be the one who provides prize to our winner of today. So may I ask now, please, Beat, to unmute yourself and elaborate a little bit about the decision, and then finally also announce the winner of today's event.
Yeah, thanks, Petra, and thanks for electing me to come up with the winner. But first and foremost, from everybody, thanks a lot for your good pitches. I think we've seen a wide variety from producing to tech solutions. And a big thank you to everybody who really nailed their pitch to the point. Now, if you look into the jury, you can see that we have a bit of a gender problem. There's four women and just 2 guys. But nevertheless, the gender problem is just kidding. The jury found that drums, Fashion Touri is the winner of today.
Thank you so much. I was not expecting it. Oh my God. How should I celebrate now? I'm alone in my flat.
That's good.
Cool.
Maybe also to deliver some of the arguments from the jury, and again, it was a very almost consensus decision. First of all, the team found that well, it's a trending topic which really fits the momentum. It's something which supports local business. Also meaning supporting sustainable business and a bit of the niches business, and not just the international brands, which everybody know. It also fits the trend of personalization, so people want to have their personalized goods. Not just everybody wants to be one size fits all. There's a lot of potential which the team saw in social media like TikTok, and using all those formats where we have a true chance, we believe, to generate enough customers, enough clients, and not just paying Google to generate customers. So the social media potential should be a lot there. It also fits the trend of thoughtful travel post-pandemic. So not just going for like 24 hours to Dubai or New York and shop and go back. So that's also another tick in the box. And the team also thought that next to the fashion, which you mentioned, there's obviously a lot of other potentials to be seized. Not just fashion, but also other local goods, which can be an expansion going forward. So all in all, there was a lot of ticks in the boxes, and congrats to you and the team. And the prize of today, or let's say a little bit of appreciation of today, is that for you and the team will get how can I say, a voucher for a stay in one of the Falkensteiner hotels in South Tyrol, Südtirol, Alto Adige, 4-star. And then enjoy yourself, and hopefully also work a little bit as you start up, and you need to work 24/7. But as we learned, there's also potential to work and combine with travel. So congrats again to your team, Ronja, and everybody who pitched very well today.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I just wanted to say that I'm very happy, and we had really tough times because there was one time when I was working with the wrong IT company and the project was down for 1.5 years. So we know the roller coaster, and for that, I'm super happy now that I can offer the team now something really cool for all of their work they've done, because without the work of the team, Fashion Toury would be nothing. So thank you very much for this prize.
Wonderful, Ronja. It's always nice to see them happy faces at the end of such an event. We come to an end, and I would like to say a very big thank you. First of all, also to all our startups that contributed with their pitches, and I hope a small kind of giving back is also the visibility that you got with the event being streamed on YouTube, and also obviously the attention of all our great jury members. Secondly, I would like to thank our audience. We had many people with us today, and this is really nice because I would like to tell you how the whole thing started. And actually, somehow I came across Falkensteiner Ventures on LinkedIn, and I saw the profile of Ingrid. She's not here today, but she's actually the person I talked to first. And then we decided, let's do something together for the Vienna Up. And this was a starting point for this event. And now so many people contributed to make it to what it was today. So let me thank also to our great Federico and Christian. Please come to the stage from our Talent Garden team, who really took care that all that technical stuff went so well. Yeah, and it really went well. So thank you very much for that. We are also glad to have the Cisco system with us, which allows us to do this sort of hybrid events. I would also say a big thank you to my co-moderator, Raphael. Please also come to the stage. Our and obviously to all the teams that are not present now, from Falkensteiner, from Modul University, and from Talent Garden, who contributed to this event. So really thank you a lot. I hope you had the same fun that we had here on the stage. And this is also the official ending of the Vienna Up. So we made a very special thing today in a way. So happy to have had you with us. Enjoy your evening. And you're very welcome to visit us at Talent Garden whenever you are near the 9th district of Vienna. Thank you very much and see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great.
Finally.